another video. And today the topic is traveling across Russia. So I just wanted to tell you the points about traveling around here and how does it feel like. Right now I'm located in Krasnodar, Russia. Krasnodar is about 4 hours away by train from Sochi. And Sochi, you probably know it, like in 2014 Olympic Games. And this part of Russia is quite warm. Quite warm, I'm saying, according to, I don't know, Californian standards maybe, or like overall like American standards, it's warm. It's not the warmest part, but I mean in Russia, the European part of Russia, the southern part is especially warm. It's probably the warmest place in Russia where you could have live. So I mean it's a pretty good place. Many people are actually moving there just because of the climate. Climate is great by Russian standards again. So, and I just wanted to tell you the points of traveling across Russia. Yeah, of course there should be some wine, right? And I have some wine here, just a bit. And what I want to talk about is traveling around this place. And I've been in Russia for, I mean I was born there, but since I've traveled across Europe, then I moved to Russia for a few months just to meet my friends, travel around, and just to see how the country changed over the years. And I've been in Moscow, St. Petersburg, and now Krasnodar, so 3 cities. I also been in the suburbs of Russia and in suburbs of St. Petersburg. But just in general, I wanted to talk about the, I would say, general rules of traveling in Russia. So the first thing is budget. Comparing to many European countries, it might seem that traveling in Russia is quite cheap. Quite cheap, I would not say that it's super cheap, because let me tell you that it's not Asia, it's not like somewhere in Indonesia where you can live very cheap. No, it's more like Eastern Europe. It's quite comparable to, like, say, living in Czech Republic or Poland or any place in that area, basically. Maybe cheaper, but depends on the region. If you like take Moscow, for example, Moscow is not cheap. But if you take even St. Petersburg and the south in Russia, it's pretty much affordable, I would say. You can comfortably live there under $1,000 a month. And I say it includes everything, basically, like the food. Well, consider like if you don't eat out every day, of course. But food, accommodation, and overall expenses. Like you could have lived there 1,000 a month, I would say, per single person. Yeah, of course, if you're a family, it would be much more expensive. Not much, but more expensive. So what other expenses are there? Transportation. Transportation, if you are living in Moscow, if you're traveling in Moscow or in St. Petersburg, there is a metro. And metro, you take it, and single ride costs like 40 rubles something. So it's basically like 80 cents, US cents. And it's fine, it's affordable, you can move around, you don't need really a car to actually live there. But if you want to travel by car, you can either like rent a car, or you could just use Uber, or actually Yandex Taxi. Yandex Taxi is the app that Russians use to move around in Russia. So it's actually affordable. It's possible to just move around using the app plus metro and walking. Walking is not a big problem in Russia. It's not a big deal. You can just walk around. Many cities are walkable, and yeah, transportation is good. I would not say it's perfect because, you know, all those buses might be old. Depending on the city that you live in. Of course, in Moscow the infrastructure is much better than overall in the country, so in Moscow transportation is fine. But if you go in the suburbs, even of Moscow, or like if you move around Russia, there will always be buses, but you definitely will see that it's not that quality, probably. but it's not expensive. But we go to the next point, which is a language. And if you travel in Russia and you don't know the language, it might be not that easy task for you, because if you don't know Russian, at least how to read the Cyrillic. If you don't know how to read Cyrillic, that will be a mess for you. I could tell you honestly, like, you need to at least know some basic Russian, because if you don't know Russian, you'll be moving around the expensive areas in all those cities, and those expensive areas, of course, well, you mean you spend lots of money there. You could get along, you can get by, but basically, yeah, knowing language, at least basic phrases, like спасибо, пожалуйста, как пройти, thank you, please, and like how to get by, something like that, you will not be able to live comfortably. So yeah, before you go there, it will be very, very good if you learn at least basic phrases. Yeah, it will be very helpful. People. Next point is people, and the people in Russia are warm, usually warm. If you like talk to the person personally, how to say, if you like discover them, if you like really want to get to know them, then they will be friendly and everything will be fine. But overall on the street, if you go by and like nobody says like, "Hi, can I pass by? I'm sorry." No, nobody says it there. Everybody is just like about themselves. That's the problem here. I agree. Yeah, that's for me. After living so many years in the US and going back to Russia, it's like no, nobody cares. And you might feel like, oh my god, it's horrible. Everybody is so impolite, but at the same time, well, people are real. So they just like, okay, like they just go by their own business and don't care much about. Yeah, I would say it'll be shocking at least initially, but then you get used to it. Drivers are also like crazy. Nobody will yield to you. They will be like, okay, I'm just going there, like fuck you, and I don't really care. So yeah, that will probably be the problem. But again, everything you can get used to, so don't take it personally and understand that that's just like mentality of probably the Soviet mentality of people that like government does everything for me, government needs to feed me, government needs to do everything for me, and that's why people are so close-minded maybe in some cases. But again, everything is changing, and I would not say that it's bad. It's just like, I don't know, just specifics. Well, and what else I could say? Yeah, just be open-minded here. Russia is a different place, and most of the time you'll feel the same like in traveling in Europe, but there are some local specifics that I told you about basically. And the more you know about the country, the more you research about your destination will be more helpful. Not that you will get some specific points where you want to go, but you also understand like mentality of people and the overall things. And I think that traveling around Russia is very, very much worth it. Many people especially travel the Trans-Siberian route, and I honestly never traveled this route, even though I'm Russian, at least originally. So I think it's a good idea to travel this route, and I want to do it, but not in the winter. And right now we're approaching the winter, so I'll probably skip that part for now, but maybe later on. Yeah, oh, by the way, train rides in Russia are really, really interesting. There is like, of course, how to say, compared to American trains, it's quite different. I can only speak about comparison between American trains and Russian trains. American trains, yeah, I think it's quite comfortable and everything, but Russian trains also have some local specifics. They're like usually two classes of cabins in the trains. It's like coupe and Platzkart. So if you take coupe, it's like basically enclosed room within the train where like there are 4 beds and the people sleep there, and it closed by the door. So this is the first class, and second class is the Platzkart. And Platzkart, like the whole train is like bunch of beds there. Everybody's talking, everything is loud, everybody like eating something on the table, drinking something on those tables, and it's like a mess. But you know, in this mess, you feel like, oh yeah, I'm like in Russia. I feel like I'm, I don't know, experiencing something very, very Russian. So Platzkart is like something from Soviet times where everything was about like we need to build social people, socialize, and all that stuff like that. So it will be interesting for you to experience. Another thing is the security, because many people are concerned about security in Russia, but maybe it was a huge problem like 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But right now, I would say that it's not a big deal. Most of the time, you'll feel fine. Of course, you should take some security precautions and not be foolish around touristic places, like always check your pockets, like that everything is okay. I don't know, just be careful about your surroundings, but overall you'll be fine. You'll be totally fine. It's like, don't believe the media that says like it's horrible. No, it's fine, it's okay. So yeah, so cheers to you, and please press the like button and subscribe. Thank you guys.